Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on, well, something we see constantly but maybe don't question enough: photographs.
It's right. Images that, stop us in our tracks. They feel so real, so significant.
Exactly. Like they carry this undeniable truth, but what if they don't always tell the whole story? What if just looking at them shapes us in ways we don't even realize?
Yeah, we're going to explore some fascinating sources today. We'll start with some really iconic photos that might actually surprise you. Then we'll shift into a pretty profound critique of how we view suffering, especially through images, and ultimately think about what true empathy might actually demand from us.
Okay.
Our mission really is to look beyond that visible frame, to try and uncover the full story, maybe find a deeper meaning in how we engage with these images.
So let's start right there, questioning that assumption of truth. We tend to just trust photos, don't we? Like they're a window onto reality. But our sources show a pattern that really challenges that. Think about a really famous photo, one that just screams history. Maybe that iconic image of the American flag being raised.
Ah, yes. The 1945 Iwo Jima photo.
Yeah.
End of World War II.
Yeah.
It became this huge symbol, right? Victory, resilience.
Those soldiers became instant heroes.
Absolutely. Paraded around.
Yeah.
It's deeply embedded in our collective memory.
And the surprising part, the thing most people don't know, is that its powerful impact wasn't entirely spontaneous.
That's the kicker, isn't it? The first flag raising, the actual one, involved a smaller flag. The second raising, the famous one, it was orchestrated by a war photographer. Staged for maximum visual impact.
Yeah.
It wasn't a candid moment captured. It was, arranged.
Like in the movie Flags of Our Fathers.
Exactly. It depicts that. So it raises this big question, right? If it's something so iconic, so ingrained, was actually crafted, what does that do to our sense of authenticity?
It definitely shakes that initial trust. And it's not just that one photo. Think about lunch atop a skyscraper.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows that one.
You see it and you think, wow, the grit, the daring spirit of the 1930s, construction workers just casually eating lunch way up high. Looks so real.
Yeah, and that one, too, was posed.
Really?
Yeah. The workers were positioned. It's more like a performance than a candid snapshot.
Yeah.
Almost a PR photo for the building project.
So if these images we hold up as like symbols of an era are basically performances.
It makes you rethink the whole idea of photographic truth, doesn't it?
It really does. But then, okay, there's a third example that feels totally different. That shocking photo from the Vietnam War.
The execution in the street.
Yeah, the South Vietnamese police chief executing a Viet Cong prisoner. It's raw, it's visceral, it feels undeniably real.
And it was real. That one wasn't staged.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this is often missing when we just see the image. The context.
What context?
The man being executed. He'd apparently just killed the police chief's subordinates, maybe even family members. So what looked to the world like this cold-blooded execution was, for the chief, an act of, brutal retribution.
That changes things significantly.
It absolutely does, and it's a stark reminder, isn't it? We consume countless images, especially in the media, often with zero backstory. They can be manipulated or just presented without the full picture.
And we let them shape how we see the world, how we judge simulations and people.
Definitely. Which leads us to think about how we get this information.
Right. This blurring of lines impacts how we process news, how we feel. Our sources, including one from a former broadcaster, point out something pretty obvious when you think about it. News headlines focus overwhelmingly on the sensational, right?
Absolutely. Murder, crime, war, disaster, famine.
You rarely see a headline about, I don't know, a kid feeding a stray cat or just a plane landing safely.
Why would you? It doesn't grab your attention. It doesn't sell.
And this constant flood of suffering, tragedy after tragedy, what does that do to us?
Well, that's the uncomfortable question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can, unfortunately, desensitize us. The pain of others can start to feel distant, maybe even like entertainment.
Entertainment, that sounds harsh.
It does, but think about it. We consume it passively, maybe feel sad for a moment, and then just move on. This is exactly the issue Susan Sontag tackles in her book regarding the pain of others.
Sontag.
Right. She really challenges us to think about what it means to witness suffering through images.
She argues that war often becomes the main way we see others suffering.
Yeah, and she looks back historically to make her point.
Yeah.
Way back, understanding came from stories, maybe paintings like Goya's The 3rd of May, 1808. Brutal, yes.
But a painting today, even a powerful one, might feel different, less immediate than a photo.
Perhaps. Then photography arrives. Sontag notes the Crimean War, 1855, first war photographers sent out.
And what did they capture? The horror?
Not quite. They didn't show massacres or, the really gruesome stuff. Early war photos often showed British soldiers looking relaxed, maybe sewing, chatting, nurses tending wounds, looking almost serene. Well, the British government was worried about anti-war feelings back home. So these images were curated. They were essentially propaganda, designed to present a sanitized view of war, avoiding the true horrors happening just outside the frame.
So the very first war photos were already manipulating the narrative.
Pretty much. But then technology changed things.
Cameras got smaller, faster. No more tripods needed for everything.
Exactly. You could capture moments instantly. Better lenses meant you could shoot raw reality.
Sontag writes that photographers started aiming their cameras almost like soldiers aim rifles, capturing that unfiltered truth.
But even then, Sontag noticed something troubling.
What was that?
Think about World War II photos of dead soldiers, Allied soldiers specifically. Their faces are almost always obscured, right? Turned away, covered by something.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Why?
Well, basic decency, perhaps. Even criminals often have their faces covered in the media. Why expose young soldiers who died, honorably? Photographers often angled shots, made choices to avoid that perceived cruelty.
Okay, that makes sense.
But then, Sontag contrasts this with, say, images from later conflicts, like from Cambodian prison camps. There, the faces and bodies of victims, people likely executed, are often fully exposed, starkly visible.
Huh. That is a difference.
It's a stark difference, and Sontag asks why. Why the difference in treatment?
What was her conclusion? It sounds provocative.
It was, and is. She suggested it reflects a deep bias, that Western media often protects the dignity of, white soldiers, while non-Western victims are shown more explicitly.
Framing atrocities as something that happens over there, not here.
Kind of, separating us from them. It's a really powerful and uncomfortable argument.
And she was a white critic making this point.
Which certainly caused waves. But her core point is about manipulation, conscious or not. How these choices shape our perception of suffering. How we value lies differently based on who is shown and how.
And her critique isn't just about the media.
No, it points right back at us, the viewers, the consumers. How we engage or fail to engage.
It's a call to examine our own role in this whole visual culture of suffering.
Exactly. And what does that mean for us, watching day in, day out?
Sontag pushes us to look inward. Remember watching the first Gulf War on TV?
Oh, yeah. The video game war.
It felt like that for many, didn't it? CNN showing bombs dropping, night vision, almost spectacular precision.
Meanwhile, on the ground, countless Iraqi civilians, kids, elderly people, women were dying.
But we watched it from afar, often, like it was entertainment.
So Sontag asks, are we just voyeurs, passively consuming the pain of others?
You might react against that, right? I'm not a voyeur. I feel terrible seeing that.
Of course. And the feeling is real. But Sontag uses the analogy of a car crash. Traffic slows down, everyone stares. Is anyone hurt? That instinct to look.
Yeah.
She suggests that even that contains an element of, detached consumption. It's a chilling idea.
That our natural curiosity might also have this darker side.
And she argues that simply feeling pity, seeing starving children and saying, oh, how tragic, isn't enough.
It's sympathy, sure, but often it stops right there.
We feel sad, maybe shake our head, then turn the page, change the channel, watch something funny, and we forget.
If it was your family starving, you wouldn't just feel tragic.
You'd be frantic, desperate, you'd do anything.
So her point is, feeling pity and moving on is like saying,
that's terrible, but it's not really my problem.
It's a way, maybe unconsciously, to absolve ourselves.
We cloak inaction in feeling bad.
Sort of. It lets us feel like we've done something we felt sympathy without actually engaging or taking responsibility.
So the crucial question becomes, how do we move beyond just feeling sad?
How do we find a deeper meaning in witnessing suffering? How do we make it matter in our own lives?
Does Sontag give us answers? Or just the hard questions?
She doesn't offer easy solutions, no. But she points towards recognizing our own part in this cycle of suffering and how we consume images of it. And that's where this deep dive really hits home, I think.
Finding personal meaning. Yes. Think about it. Sharing pain can lessen the burden for the one suffering. Sharing joy multiplies it. True empathy, Sontag implies, isn't just feeling for someone, it's feeling with them. It's extending a hand, not just shedding a tear.
So it's a wake-up call.
A powerful one. She's saying, look, we might be unconsciously consuming others' pain almost like it's entertainment. Let's face that uncomfortable truth. Confront that error within ourselves.
And then strive to do better.
Exactly. Consciously. Actively. To live with a deeper sense of connection, responsibility. That path leads to a more, well, enlightened and meaningful life, doesn't it?
It makes you reevaluate those iconic images again, doesn't it?
It does.
Like Dorothy Lange's migrant mother, a symbol of resilience in the Depression.
But Lange posed the family. She directed the mother's gaze. It's real hardship, yes, but curated. How much are we not seeing?
Or the napalm girl from Vietnam. That photo shocked the world, fueled anti-war feeling.
Absolutely horrifying. But it's one moment. What about our life after? The recovery, the decades of trauma? Those stories often get lost behind the single frame.
And more recently, that heartbreaking photo of Alan Kurdi, the little Syrian boy.
Washed ashore in 2015. It sparked global grief, debates about refugees.
But did that grief translate into sustained action for most people? Sontag would likely argue that our fleeting sadness without real action risks turning even such profound tragedies into mere spectacles.
These images are undeniably powerful, haunting, impactful.
And they all circle back to this crucial lesson, right?
Look beyond the frame. Question the narrative you're being given.
And choose empathy that leads to action, not just emotion that fades.
Finding that deeper connection, that shared humanity. That's where the real meaning lies, perhaps. It illuminates a path forward.
So thinking about all this, what stands out to you about how we consume images? And maybe, just maybe, what might that realization call you to do differently?
Something to reflect on.
Join us next time on The Deep Dive as we continue to explore the hidden layers of our world and what they can teach us about living more meaningful lives.